Fashion is more than style, it's a form of political expression. In this video, we'll explore how what we wear can challenge norms and make powerful statements about society. Welcome back. My name is Jada if you're new here, and today I want to talk about fashion as a political climate indicator and how every moment in fashion led to this current political climate. This timeline is completely unorganized. I'm just blurbing it out and we're just going to discuss it. The first indicator for me was heroin chic. Heroin chic was kind of glamorizing thinness, also rugs. I also think it glamorized, in a way, inconsistent eating habits, if you catch my drift, and sort of attributing those traits to a very slim supermodel. I also noticed the shift in the way that people were starting to get their nails done. Just a couple of years ago, a lot of people were really gravitating towards individual nail techs because they were starting to showcase designs and art that we had never seen before, because before that we were just going to traditional nail salons and getting what ever. But now we started seeing, basically, I would say, artists who did nails, and we love getting our nails done. So it kind of combined the two worlds, and that is something that was very unique. And that in itself kind of created this opportunity for the customer and the nail tech to kind of collaborate and create art. Like, I remember following nail techs or people who created press-ons and that type of art, sharing stories of customers bringing like maybe a banana peel or something that they found that had a weird design, like bringing real life objects and saying, how can we incorporate this into nails? And that is something that I always found very fascinating. But at a certain point, something just shifted overnight to where people are like, short nails. I first saw this, honestly, if you guys know who Jada Cheeves is, I remember her saying, oh my God, I used to hate short nails, but now I'm gravitating towards them. And that was honestly my first indicator. And then every nail moment after that was sort of like a domino effect, because then people were just like, oh my God, I love short nails. We're like, I can get so much more done in short nails, which is very true, honestly. But there is a conversation to be had about how some people were using this sudden trend of wearing short nails or a clean French tip or a bubble bath color OPI, whatever, and how they were kind of using that as a superiority complex versus long eclectic nails. All of a sudden, what we gravitated towards, what we appreciated for being very unique, very creative, whether you wore long nails or not, was now just like considered ghetto again, if you get what I mean, because history obviously repeats itself. We also saw this in the way that people were changing their makeup style. Obviously, we've outgrown the 2016 baddie look, but I also think Hailey Bieber and some of those models, the way that they were doing their makeup in those Vogue videos, definitely played a part into the way people do their makeup now. I do like the natural makeup look, and I do like a good, clean, full face. Like, Uchi is one of those examples, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but she does full face, looks phenomenal, it eats every time. Like, but in terms of fashion and beauty being a political climate indicator, that was definitely on the spectrum as well. And don't get me started on the boom of Ozempic. Obviously, we know everyone in Hollywood got the shot or the pill or however you can get Ozempic up in your body. Like, everyone took it. Next up, we obviously have the infamous trad wife influencer. We're talking Nara Smith, Ballerina Farm, whoever else, whatever. When someone pointed out that this was propaganda, I definitely understood that perspective. It just felt like all at once. Like, there's not even just Nara Smith and Ballerina Farm. There's so many others that starting to document what on the outside may look like a trad wife life, but behind closed doors, these people are rich, and that is not the traditional wife that's doing all of this labor in the home isn't rich. You know what I mean? Like, these people work really hard, like really hard, and they often do not see the fruits of their labor, and they're often not married to heirs of a billionaire or to someone with a prestigious and rich background. Most people that are married to rich people who are rich themselves, because Ballerina Farm also had a prestigious background, they don't have this sort of like kink to be a trad wife or to be perceived as a trad wife. Like, they would rather you just see, like, yes, this is my Chanel bag, this is my Bugatti, this is me getting off Emiratis first class. Again, we're just on the spectrum of, okay, now we're looking at the nail style and type of content that's being pushed, the makeup style, like, it's all starting to help paint the bigger picture. Now let's talk about fashion. Someone made a really good point about House of CB. I haven't checked their website in so long, maybe probably going on 3 years. But someone shared screenshots of what they're selling now.
Just a little bit confused. I was looking on House of CB for a winter Christmas party night out. What the is that? Like, are they for real? Like, what in the Tudor century living world is that? I just want to know, like, who's actually buying these items. They are horrific. I mean, that one's not too bad, but I used to think House of CB was slay.
And everything just gives Milkmaid, cottagecore, like that type of aesthetic. And someone was like, I don't want to dress like a sexy pilgrim. Like, what is this? And I think with House of CB, and what they're not realizing specifically is that that was a trend. Like, it's gonna change again, but they're like sticking to the gun. For them, it seems like it's gone beyond just like a trend. It like almost seems like a costume store. Like, it just seems so forced. And that's the thing with like following trends in the first place, especially as a business, as a fashion business. Even during during quarantine, right? A lot of people were going to flower fields and whatever, just being in nature, yeah. So cottagecore dresses and floral print dresses made sense for the time, right? The cottagecore Milkmaid dress that could have been earlier kind of got put to a pause because people were so eager to express themselves and just like get back out there and be their vibrant, eclectic, whatever self. But then after about a couple of years, we continued down that like Milkmaid cottagecore style for the summer, and then for winter it's like Old Money, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Simple. We also saw this with shoes that became popular like kitten heels, sling bags, flats. We also saw this with the length of skirts nowadays. I think that's a theory of its own, which I'll plug here if so. But that was also another indicator. Sophia Richie's rebrand was also a very strange indicator. You also saw this with the boom of
femininity.
Coaches. I'm sorry, but I keep saying femininity or femininity, and either or doesn't sound right. I don't like that. I feel like it should be femininity. You know, like why the femininity? You know what I mean? I don't know. But the way a lot of older women were pandering to mainly young women, that they should all of a sudden lean more into their feminine side and be more feminine and express their womanhood in a way that's very just pink, for lack of a better word, pink, okay? Because we understand what pink symbolizes, especially when it comes to women. Like, it's very feminine and girly, and just there's this sort of like innocence and damsel in distress feel that comes with being feminine, you know? But without most of them saying that, it was kind of giving off the message of, here's how to make yourself more desirable to men, or condense yourself to be this, to be more approachable, to get what you want from men. Like, it kind of all led to being accepted by men, or sort of curating pretty privilege, if that makes sense. Even though pretty privilege is a sack of shit, because it's always attached to a man. Like, going back to fashion, we also saw this with the rise in tennis skirts, and then playing tennis and pickleball, and just tennis skirts were just like wearing sweatpants. Like, they replaced the sweatpants or Nike shorts or whatever. It was also very interesting. We also saw this with the rise of Van Cleef jewelry. I'm gonna be honest when I say this, and I'm sorry if you own Van Cleef or a Van Cleef dupe. We don't have to like the same things. I still respect you, okay? But Van Cleef is something that I would expect from Pandora, you know, like that type of style, or like Kate Spade, or maybe Tory Burch. But the fact that it's like that expensive and just that, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. But that was also another indicator, because that type of style jewelry on its own is very preppy, very conservative, very like, it's, I don't know, but it definitely belongs in Pandora is all I'm gonna say. We also saw this with the clean girl aesthetic. Now, I will say, again, along with how people started rejecting longer, eclectic, creative nails, the same way they started rejecting anything that wasn't slick back, simple makeup, and just like, again, digestible. And everything that I'm mentioning here obviously is intertwined, because it's on a spectrum. It's kind of like a timeline leading up to the big event. But just like people were using short nails, French tip nails to have this like superiority complex, they were doing the same with being a clean girl and having the clean girl aesthetic, which it's like, do you mean just looking like you groomed, brushing your hair? Like, that's not an aesthetic. That's just a simple getting ready to go. I just showered, going to the airport, going to go run errands. I just showered. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't understand how being groomed became an aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, that was also interesting. But people also use this to put themselves on a pedestal above people that wore more heavier makeup or had messy hair or wore more vibrant, colorful outfits and nails. But it's those videos where I would assume younger women were like, when you're his first matcha, Pilates, hot yoga, alo yoga, chia seed water, did I say matcha? Zara, what the fuck else were they saying to put themselves on a pedestal? Like, all the things, okay? Clean girl aesthetic, slick back, in bed at 9, short. When I tell you I cannot stand my upstairs neighbor. Anyway, short nails, blah, 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 like all these little superficial things to put themselves on a pedestal over someone who doesn't probably like not everyone has to like that, you know? But it was just like using anything that rejected individuality, uniqueness, and self-expression. And those are all the fashion and beauty indicators that led to this moment. I really hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.